Hey everybody, Mike Iaconelli here. Welcome back out in the shop. I've got another cool tip, trick, secret modification just for you. And this one has got a really interesting name. It's called the cat rig. Meow! The cat rig. And just like a cat, this rig sort of sneaks around in the water. It's got a really cool, subtle fall and shimmy. And the other great thing about the cat rig is it keeps the bait horizontal. If you've watched my shop videos before, you know when I'm throwing a bait fish imitator, I like to keep the bait horizontal. So, cool little cat-like subtle shimmy, really cool fall, keeps the bait horizontal. And one last benefit of this cat rig is that it's almost 100% weedless. It's a super weedless, snagless presentation. Let me show you the bait first, and then we're going to go ahead and knock out the components. And when you look at it, it's interesting because it's a really cool way to rig a soft minnow bait. You know, when you look at it, it's rigged what I would call reverse wacky style. It utilizes an O-ring, a lot like a soft stick bait. And you're going to notice right under here at the chin of the bait, you're going to see one of those VMC nail weights. And how versatile, you know how versatile those nail weights are. And normally this kind of rig is reserved for soft stick baits. But on the cat rig, we're going to do it with a minnow bait. So let's look at the components. And real super easy, super simple components. Let's start with the hook. And for this one, I want a weed guard style hook. My two favorites are a weedless finesse Nico hook. It's a really good hook. But even better than that, this is the VMC Ike approved weedless wacky hook. And I like them from a number 2 all the way up to a number 1/0. But that right there is probably my favorite size, and it's a size 1. And if you look at it, it's pretty much a standard drop shot style, wacky style hook. But it's got this cool metal weed guard on it. And anglers fish it different ways. Some guys leave it in the down position, below the point. Some guys leave it up. And I do something personally that helps me get a better hookup percentage on this hook. And that is, I bring that metal prong up. And then on the VMC, if you look, it's closed. And I just get my scissors or my cutter, and I just go right between those two wires, and I cut it. And when I do that, it cuts that wire guard, and I'm able to flare them out and push them down a little bit. And the nice thing about that is I custom create my own weed guard, snag guard, that will help it run over all that brush, weeds, grass, docks, ropes. But when the fish bites on it, twink, you've got it, okay? So a weedless style hook, the VMC wacky weedless one's a real good one. The next thing we're going to need is a nail weight. And, you know, a lot of different nail weights out there. And the great thing about these nail weights, they come in tremendous amount of different sizes. From these little itsy bitsy 16th ounce weights all the way up to giant ones that weigh 1/4 ounce. And generally pick a weight based on the depth of water you're fishing. Shallower the water, lighter the weight. Deeper the water, the heavier the weight. And also, when you want to slow the fall of this bait, this cat rig works good on a slow, natural fall. Go with that little bit smaller weight. So this is a 16th ounce. And then last but not least, we need the bait and we need the O-ring. O-ring, you all know about these things. These are O-ring tools. There's the VMC O-ring wacky tool. They sell a lot of other ones, and they have different color guards. Some are clear, some are black. Some of these O-rings are black. You can just match the bait. And And then finally, the bait itself. And this cat rig works the best with minnow style baits. Here are three of my favorite for sure. Berkeley, this is the Berkeley Power Bait Power Minnow. This is the Berkeley Power Bait Twitch Tail Minnow. Or, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, if you're fishing around smallmouth or spotted bass, where scent is really important, this is the Berkeley Power Bait Max Scent Flat Nose Minnow. This one's a killer. Any of these will work. Show you. I'll pull this one out for you and show you. It's a really cool bait. It's got a terrible, terrible, horrific smell to it. There it goes there. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to rig this thing for you now. I've already got one rigged that we'll look at in the tank. But let me basically show you how I'm going to go about rigging this thing. First thing is, I want to get that O-ring on that bait. And just like if it was a soft stick bait, I'm going to put the fat end of the bait inside that tube, and I'm going to get my O-ring. This is a black VMC O-ring, and I'm going to start to push it down that tube. Getting it started sometimes tough. There we go. That tube expands it, and I want to place it not quite halfway, but about a little less than halfway from the nose of the bait, okay? So I'm going to put that fat end in there. I'm going to get that ring going all the way down the tube, and I want to get it just a little before the halfway point on that bait. Okay, just about to pop off. There we go. It's a little too far back there. That's about right, okay? So look at the position of that ring. I'm not quite halfway back. I'm a little less than halfway back on that bait. But I want to leave the chin of that lure totally open, okay? Really important. I want to leave the chin of that bait totally open. So when you look at that bait, especially the flat-nosed minnow, it's nice because the chin section is a little fatter. And in that chin section, that's where I'm going to go ahead and get my VMC nail weight, 16th ounce on this one. And I'm going to push it into the chin. So if I were to give you a length measurement, I'm going to say about 1/8 of an inch back from the nose of that flat-nosed minnow, basically in the chin. I'm going to push that nail in just so I can almost start to feel the point come out the other side. Now I'm going to cut this down. You look at it. That's the entire nail weight that weighs about 1/16 of an ounce. I'm going to cut it down, but I don't want to cut it flush. I don't want to cut it totally flush. I want to leave just a little bit of that nail sticking out. And the nice thing about the VMC is it has these little ridges on it, and I like to use those ridges as a measure. And I'm going to just cut it right there at that ridge right after where it enters. Now if you look at it, we've got the O-ring a little less than halfway back. We've got the nail weight center punched in the chin. And last but not least, we're going to use our Weedless Wacky hook, Weedless drop shot style hook, and we're going to reverse rig it, okay? So when we put the point of the hook under that O-ring, we don't want to go toward the head of the bait. We want to go from the head toward the tail. So we want to reverse Wacky rig it. We're going to go into the bait, under the O-ring, back out the bait, and create that beautiful pivot point that's so good for this style of rigging, okay? So there we have it. It's weedless. It's sort of wacky in line, reverse weedless wacky in line, and of course, we've got that weight that's in the chin. And I want you to watch this now. We're going to go to the tank. I want you to watch this bait as it sort of shimmies like a cat. This is why it's called the cat rig. It sort of creeps down, a little bit of a shimmy to it, almost a little bit of a spiral. And then when it does hit the bottom, when it finally hits the bottom, that little weight we purposely left a little bit out there, it's going to tap on the bottom and create a little bit of disturbance. And once again, look at this. Totally weedless, brush, rocks, docks, whatever. This cat rig is killer. Let's look at it in the tank. Okay, so I've got the one that I already pre-rigged. This is the same setup, except instead of using the max scent, we went with the regular power bait minnow. But everything's the same. Same nail weight, same hook, same O-ring. Now watch this thing, just like a cat. Watch how this thing subtly falls. We're going to look at the fall first, and then after a couple times of looking at the fall, I want you to look at how it sits on the bottom. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Watch this. Look at this subtle fall. Watch. I want to pop it up. Look at that. Look at it. It almost. Look at how it kind of half spirals. It finds itself, and if you look really, really close, you're going to see that tail shaking a little and shimmying. Look how subtle it is, and honestly does remind you of a cat sneaking around. Okay. Look at this. I'm going to go right through this brush, too. I'm going to go right through this fake brush and show you. Look how snagless this is. And look at it. Look at that tail shimmying. And it almost is spiraling around the tank if you watch it. It's looping around the tank. Look at that. Look at that shimmy and that fall. So incredible, subtle shimmy and fall. But now watch this. Once it finally gets to the bottom. And by the way, when I'm fishing this, I like to let it fall on a semi-slack line. Because on a semi-slack line, it has all that natural motion. Once it hits the bottom, though, watch this. Look how the chin keeps it. Look at it. Look at the weight. It keeps it just a little bit off the bottom. It creates a disturbance, okay? But here's the biggest thing you're going to notice. Look how the bait stays horizontally. Look at it. It stays horizontally, just like a real bait fish. And that's so key in all these presentations with a minnow bait, is the bait stays horizontally. And it is very, very important in this one as well. Man, I hope you like this rigging. And if you're a fan of wacky rigging or minnow baits, this is a cross between both of them. It's called the cat rig. Super easy to put together. It's going to help you catch a lot of fish. Listen to me. If you're enjoying this video right now, and you want to keep getting more, hit that subscribe button down there real quick, and we'll get a new video to you every week with great tips like the cat rig. Good luck and good fishing.